women who went to space is a hoax, but not for the reason you're probably thinking. And guys, make sure to click the plus sign and subscribe and sound off in the comments. I want to know exactly what you think about this. But as you guys know, we just had like yesterday, these 5 women, including Katy Perry and Jeff Bezos's woman or wife, going to be, went up to space, and apparently they were the first all-woman space crew along with Gayle King. However, some weird things happened. So this was from Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin, which he's trying to get in the business of space tourism. This was all PR for that, and you can see that they went up for just a few minutes and they all screamed, "Take up space!" which is some big feminism thing. And here they are floating around, and this got a lot of pushback as it was, because you see images of this like Katy Perry that just look kind of daft and shallow, and it just doesn't seem to make a ton of sense. So first of all, we were told that they were up there 11 minutes. That's not true. They took this rocket up and back down 11 minutes total. So they were only maybe 3 minutes actually in space. And one of the big issues people had are, why are you doing this? Like, we're starving, we can't pay our rent, we can't feed ourselves, and you guys are lavishly spending money and throwing it in everybody's face like this, not to mention polluting the planet. But that wasn't even the worst of it. The worst of it happened when they landed. First up, we have Katy Perry, who did this when they came to Earth.
I feel super connected to love. So connected to love. I think this experience has shown me you never know how much love is inside of you, like how much love you have to give and how loved you are until the day you launch.
So when they were up in space in the module and you saw Katy Perry with a daisy, apparently that has to do with her daughter. Then as soon as she gets out, there's this performative, we hold the daisy up to the sky, comes down and kisses the ground, which, okay, it just seemed really performative and weird. And then when she gets off, she basically just talks about, you just don't know how loved you are and how much love you have to give, and I'm so loved. And so many people pushed back because this just seemed to be something that was paraded around the media as, oh, it's so prolific and they're so amazing, but just came across really shallow. Not to mention, there's a video of when they're all getting in the capsule. Everybody looks excited, having fun, and the back, Gayle is giving huge stank face. She has come out and said that was because she was scared, but it's pretty funny and exactly what a lot of people were thinking about them. So aside from all the pushback, why is this fake? There are 2 things I'm going to talk about. The first one is this piece of evidence. I want you to take a look, and then we're going to discuss.
What's going to come out of her mouth, but really her heart?
And is that Jeff Bezos out there right by the capsule? Kind of hard to see.
So let me explain what this is. So apparently, you're gonna see Jeff Bezos and team, this is after everything landed. You see that door opening from inside, and then you see it shut. This door is not supposed to open from the inside. They are sealed inside. So the whole thing was Jeff Bezos was gonna open it up and show everybody that they're okay. So as you saw, it looks like they tried to open it from the inside, successfully did, and then Jeff Bezos' team went back and shut it real quick so he could open it. But I thought they were locked inside, and it's making many people think this was staged. Not to mention the takeoff and the landing looked so perfectly shot. People thought this must be staged. On top of that, did they really spend billions of dollars to send these women into space and back just to say that they had an all-woman space crew, which really wasn't all-woman because all the people on the ground, or most of them, were men helping them from space. So it looks like a lot of fake feminism. So there are several instances where people are saying they think this was staged, they don't even think this is real. But there's another point a lot of people aren't talking about. Why are we using rockets when we've had UFOs since the 30s and 40s? Our government has had access to all these things even before Roswell. Why are we traveling like this with space and not using wormholes? And you may think I'm crazy, guys, but we have reports from inside the government that they've had programs, deep space programs, and been doing things like colonizing Mars literally since the 40s, and they don't have to use all these rockets. Imagine they could do this within seconds to minutes and not have any negative impact on the environment, and yet they've just been keeping this from us. Is it just me, or am I the only one that when I drive around on the highway or I'm out driving with people, I get angry, sometimes irrationally angry, because I know it's BS. I know right now we should have UFOs, which are some of the safest things in the world, clean and efficient, and use a form of AI technology where you're working directly with the craft's consciousness itself. See, what makes me really mad about these type of things are not what everybody thinks. And look, I'm not saying it's staged, I'm not saying it's not. I don't really know. I know sometimes we can see inconsistencies and our brain will come up with a story. It doesn't mean it's real, but it also doesn't mean it's not. Sometimes you're picking up on the fact that things aren't right, and it feels like we constantly see in our media that we are constantly being lied to on so many different levels. I don't blame people for thinking it's not real. Here's why I know it's not real. Even if they did go or not, our government has been sitting, allegedly in my opinion, on the technology for space travel, interdimensional space travel, for almost a decade, clean energy to do it, and says nothing. Allegedly, our government has been sitting on free energy devices for at least 150 years. Nikola Tesla, anybody? Nothing. They know of technology where we can manifest food if we want to. You can manifest and de-manifest things. Even your clothes, anything you can think of, 3D printing is the baby step to that. And they say nothing. They have been colonizing Mars with people they kidnap, children they traffic, or prisoners that people have long forgotten about. And yet, it's all being kept from us. Look at all the new space programs Trump's put into place. What about McKinnon? Y'all know who McKinnon is? He was the one in Scotland, the autistic guy. He actually hacked NASA and saw that they had off-terrestrial officers. They had officers who were in space permanently. And we're not talking about just like the ISS or the space stations up there. What is going on here? And guys, I'll tell you, at this point, I like Elon Musk. I'm a decent fan of his. I'm not saying he's a perfect person, none of us are, but I like what he's doing. But even him, I question a little bit. And the reason is, anybody who's in these fields, I feel like, knows this stuff is real. We have reports from the 30s and 40s that we've had ETs, Pleiadians, Greys, and otherwise visit our government, and the positive ones who want to help us have tried to make positive deals. They didn't want it. Our governments went with negative ETs who would give them war crafts and war technology, not technology that would actually make us a better species, make us happier, more productive, healthier. When I know that they are actively, allegedly, in my opinion, hiding the technology for all of us to be healthy, completely healthy, light, sound, frequencies, vibrations, and one of the biggest ones, not poisoning us all the time with chemicals, hormones, heavy metals, and everything else they're putting out there. Why are we seeing this? Why suddenly over the last couple years are we having this huge push for space? And look, guys, I feel like one of the reasons I'm on Earth is to talk about these things and help get our human race to where we can reconnect with our positive ET brothers and sisters, our cousins, our fam. So I am a huge proponent of this. What I don't like is why we are being lied to and why are they destroying the planet with lies. Why is this happening? Because if everything I say is true, money itself, the way our economies run, are obsolete. So if everybody can have everything they want and they need within reason, what happens? Suddenly, we aren't slaves being used as slave labor. And wow, that makes some psychopaths very scared. So it just feels like as we are approaching closer and closer to meeting our positive star brothers and star sisters, to being able to traverse the universe with them again and by ourselves in a peaceful way, as we are about to make these big leaps into being able to live 200 and 300 years, which we can, don't get me started, if we're not poisoning, we can. It just seems like this is more propaganda to let us know only the rich elite get to do these very damaging, dangerous things. Only the rich elite are going to get to do the space tourism, which they're building resorts up in space. They could hold a couple hundred people. We will never have access to. And when we know all of us could have our own UFO, we could all have free energy and food. Nobody ever has to worry about having your basic needs taken care of. It's just BS. What do you guys think of this? What do you think of my assessment? Tell me your thoughts. Sound off in the comments, guys. Click subscribe. I want to see you again. Also, give me a like, share, anything helps. And I will be back to rant more about this because this makes me so mad.